Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Now, I've gotten some flack for saying that. I've always been identifying the location of where we broadcast from. When I lived in Salt Lake City, I was telling everybody that I was in the mountains of the Great Salt Lake. I'm here in North Carolina. I'm identifying myself in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. That pretty much sets where I'm at. Jamie Wilk is here. Thank you for being here, Jamie. Demon Catman, my dear friend. Good to see you. C is here. Stacy Lynn is here. We appreciate you guys being here. April is here. Hi from Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome. That's awesome. We appreciate you being here. Jamie's here from Seattle, Washington. Guess what? We are going to talk about earthquakes and volcanoes in the Cascadia mountain range. I'm going to talk about it. I'm very serious about it. I'm very serious. I want everybody to understand what's going on. Jamie here is saying she's been feeling like the ground is rising up, and it is. It actually is. Just for kicks and giggles, guys. Just for kicks and giggles. Let's go over to the tremor map. Look at this. This is the tremor map for the last 30 days. The tremor map for the last 30 days. Guess what? Guess how many earthquakes are here in the last 30 days? Anybody have an idea about the ground shaking in the Pacific Northwest during the last 30 days? Does anybody know what it was like from April 5th to May 5th? This is a map from April 5th to May 5th. Here we have 2,034 earthquakes. 2,034 earthquakes. Guess what? That might seem a lot. And yes, it is. 2,034 epicenters last month. Well, guess what? It's a lot more now. A lot more now. Here, look at this. This shows we have 11,057 earthquakes. 11,057 earthquakes in the last 30 days here in the Pacific Northwest. This is from northern Vancouver Island south over into Northern California. Look at that. Look at that. Actually, this is central Vancouver Island here, north central Vancouver Island here. Look at all these earthquakes. There's 237 earthquakes there in Vancouver Island today. 237. Look at all these others during the past 30 days. 11,057. That's 4 times what it was from April 5th to May 5th. Okay? 4 times that many earthquakes. Do you think there's a problem here? Do you think that there's a problem here, guys? Jamie says she's been feeling like her body's been floating. Has anyone else been feeling weird, like different? Jamie, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm concerned about all of you, especially those of you that live in the Pacific Northwest, going all the way down to Northern California. The Pacific Northwest, guys, the Cascade Mountain Range, that's basically what I'm concerned with. It goes from British Columbia, Canada, southwestern British Columbia, Canada, all the way down into Northern California, Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta. Unreal. Unreal. Guys, what I'm telling you tonight is that every one of the volcanoes are active. Every one of those volcanoes are active. And there's at least a 3.0, 3.5 earthquake hitting every one of those today. Every one of them. Now, we've also been talking about harmonic earthquakes. Harmonic earthquakes. I'm going to tell you this. The harmonic earthquakes are very much related to what's going on at the volcanoes. Harmonic earthquakes mean that magma is coming into the magma chamber on a regular rate. On a regular rate. It's not coming in now and again. It's not coming in off and on. It's not coming in sporadically. Magma is recharging all of the volcanoes worldwide. Worldwide. Now, folks, we have seen a lot of volcanoes active in the past month, the past week, even during the past few days. I'm telling you right now, you folks in the Pacific Northwest Cascade Mountain Range, you need to really think about what you're going to do, where you're at. I've been talking about having everyone write an emergency preparedness plan. And I'll bet you this, that very few people are doing it. Very few people are doing it. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening. But guys, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't have a preparedness plan, this Cascadia mega thrust earthquake is going to hit. And then you're going to be complete out of luck. You will be completely out of luck. Ashley Laurel's here from northern Missouri. Ashley says it has been unusually cool in Missouri. Yes, you guys have had some storms. That's cooled things off. But seismically in the New Madrid Fault area, things are getting hot. Things are getting very hot. The seismic activity on the New Madrid Fault has also increased. It's increased, guys. And I don't mind telling you that. I'm concerned. I am very, very concerned about your safety. I'm very, very concerned about your families and what you're going to do about it. I'm very concerned. Harbor Girls here. Thank you very much for being here. Now, guys, does everybody have a plan? I doubt it. If not, you need to do it. You need to be serious about writing an emergency preparedness plan. You need to know what you're going to do prior to the emergency happening. Whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a volcanic eruption, whether you have very bad weather, thunderstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, guys. Hurricane season started this week. Hurricane season started this week. And yes, we're going to have some hurricanes. We're going to have some very severe storms coming in. And I'm going to talk more and more about it this next week. I want everybody to get serious. I want everybody to get very serious here. Stacy Lynn says she lives along the Kentucky River, and there are times it's undulating. It's moving. It really is. It really is. Folks, there are earthquakes up and down the entire East Coast. As you can see here on the West Coast, these are just earthquakes considered to be in the Cascade Mountains, the Cascade Mountain Range. What I'm showing you here is not just earthquakes along the coastline. It's in the mountain range, the volcanoes. I bet you haven't even thought about that. I bet you haven't even thought about that. Well, I'm telling you right now, if you're not considering what's going to happen, what you're going to do is basically void your life. You're going to void your life. Guys, I'm serious about this here. I'm serious. I'm very concerned about you and your families, your friends and neighbors here in this area. I was concerned last month. I told you that. I told you all about Mount Baker, Glacier Peak, Mount Rainier, and mostly Mount St. Helens, but I also talked about Mount Hood. I'm telling you this. All of the volcanoes are recharging. And they're recharging to such an extent that we could have a major earthquake here. We could have a major volcanic eruption. And the bad thing is, the United States Geological Survey doesn't give a flying rat's butt. The USGS doesn't give a flying rat's butt about it. Do you think I'm concerned? Oh, yes. I very much am. Safety is a big thing. Safety is a very big thing with me. And so is preparedness. That's why I've had this channel on the air now over 6 years. 6 years. There's a reason. There's very much a reason, guys. When the amount of earthquakes at the volcanoes, and that's what this mostly is, earthquakes in and around the volcanoes here in the Pacific Northwest, it's quadrupled. The number of seismic events has quadrupled, and they are not even showing us the activity along the coastline, along the exact coastline. Ocean Shores, Washington, Bend, Oregon, Petrolia, California, Ferndale, California. They're not even showing those earthquakes. Guys, I'm telling you this right now. You need to be very serious about what you're doing. You need to take the time to write an emergency preparedness plan as soon as possible. I've talked about it, and I've talked about it until I've talked about it. You can scroll through all of the programs that we've done here over the last over 2 years now. And I wish my last channel was still up because I had 4 years of programming there as well, talking about preparedness. But even in the last 2 years, I have intimately shown you what an emergency preparedness plan should look like. You can scroll through our past programs. And when we have talked about emergency preparedness plans, it's in the headline. It's in the title of the program. So it should be very easy for you to find. But folks, you need to get serious about this. Jamie Wilk is asking, and this has been a common question during the past few weeks. Do you think it will happen this year? Yes, I do. I do. I think it could happen this year. Okay? I'm giving the Cascadia megathrust earthquake 2 years. I'm giving the Cascadia megathrust earthquake 2 years. But we are going to have a volcanic eruption in the Pacific Northwest this year. I fully expect a San Andreas earthquake in Southern California to be this summer. June, July, August time period. I don't think it will go much past that. All the evidence is pointing in that direction. And those of you that lived along the west coast of the United States, you need to be very serious about this. You need to be very serious about this. I'm not kidding. I'm not pulling anybody's lanyard. I'm not pulling anybody's lanyard about this. I'm serious. You need to get serious about protecting yourself. I've been working on it. I've studied this. Every day I pull information. That's not good. This slide I have for you here shows the evidence it's not good at all. Stacey Lynn says she's got to walk her dogs. She's going to be listening. Please do. Please do. But I am very concerned about everyone's safety here. Especially during the past several weeks. I've dug into a lot of information day to day. Recent activity at Mount Baker, Glacier Peak, Mount Rainier, and Mount St. Helens. Many of you have been wondering what you should be doing. Hey, Rob, I'm on the air right now. Rob52 just called me. I just told him I was on the air. I'm hoping he'll join us here. Beville says he is in LA, in Los Angeles, and he requested emergency supplies for Christmas, as I suggested months ago, and no evacuation routes, as I have advised. Please do that, guys. When you have birthdays, you need to very seriously consider putting together an emergency preparedness list of supplies, things that you're going to need and use. Ask for those for presents. If someone wants to give you a special anything, have a list. Put together a list, guys. I'm very serious. Cheryl Cherry's here. Thank you for being here. Things are not getting any better. Many people have been wondering what they should be doing. I talk about this almost every day. I want to address all the fears out here. I'm not talking about fear porn. I'm not trying to scare anyone here. But I want everybody to know how serious I am about the potential of Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, Mount Baker, and also Glacier Peak possibly erupting. I have pulled the seismograms from Glacier Peak. They don't show much of anything but a 3.0, 3.3 earthquake. That's because the agency has scrubbed the data off the seismogram. The seismogram is a computer readout from the seismograph. The agency has scrubbed the data. They've left a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake and a bunch of tremors. That doesn't cut it. Those of you that have been with me for a long time, You've known that about 2 to 3 years ago, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and USGS had said that they wanted to put 5 more seismographs on Glacier Peak. Right now, they still have only 1 seismograph. The environmentalists have been keeping the agency from putting up 5 more seismographs on Glacier Peak. There's a problem with this, guys. Glacier Peak is an active volcano. Most volcanoes have anywhere from 6 to 10 seismographs on station on the volcanoes. Glacier Peak has 1. But the agency is not even putting out the data. They're making sure the data is not available to the general public because they know darn well that that volcano also is ready to erupt. I'm warning you guys. I'm warning you. Animals and Humans in Disasters here. He's the vice chair of the AOZ State Governor Citizens Corps Council. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And that's what you should be doing. Those of you in your own states, in your own cities and counties, need to find out about Citizen Corps. Why? Because Citizen Corps has everything to do with the Community Emergency Response Team. Folks, if there is a possibility, even a small possibility, of becoming involved on the Community Emergency Response Team in your area, you need to do it. Because they will help you gather supplies for your CERT team backpacks. They'll help you because they want you to be able to respond to emergencies. They want you to help. I was a CERT instructor in Utah. I've taught it. Folks, if anything happens here where I live, at least I will be prepared along with the other first responders in my area to assist anybody that needs help. I'm hoping there are people like me that are out there. And yes, I'm sure there are. But I know for a fact those agencies exist in other states and localities. You need to be very serious about trying to find yourself in those cities and counties, teams. Because only you can help your family. Only you can help your town and neighborhood. Only you. There's not going to be anybody else. You can do it. You and your neighbors can do it. Sweet Polly Purebred just got into the chat. She's taken a look at our tremor map here in the Pacific Northwest. Polly, a few minutes ago when I first started this video tonight, I showed the tremor map from May 5th or April 5th to May 5th. 2,500 earthquakes. 2,500 earthquakes. And even then they have scrubbed the data from the map because they're not showing the coastline. They're not showing all the earthquakes anywhere. Even this one. Last month, 2,500 epicenters, 2,500 plus earthquakes. Guess what this one is? This is 11,057. This is 11,057 epicenters, 11,057 quakes. That is over 4 times what we had the previous month. I'm not playing games here. I'm not playing games. This is serious. Demon Kevin says this is very serious and everyone needs to take it seriously. I agree. I've been talking about this for a very long time. The activity in the Pacific Northwest is picking up. And no, if Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens erupts, it's not going to trigger Yellowstone. It is not going to trigger Yellowstone at all. However, the magma tunnel between these volcanoes, all of them here in the Pacific Northwest, and every one of the volcanoes in the western United States are connected. They're all connected. A couple weeks ago, I talked about the geological mechanics. They're driving the powerful forces of these volcanoes. One of my dear friends, Carolyn from Denver, called me and left me a message this morning telling me that Mount Etna is erupting, which I knew it was. But Mount Etna has gotten even bigger. Mount Etna has been erupting for several days now. But now Mount Etna is throwing huge lava balls into the air. And those lava balls are rolling down the sides of the volcano. A lot of lava is also rolling down the sides of the volcano. It's gotten to be a big deal. It's gotten to be a big deal. We have 67 volcanoes that are active around the world, showing signs of erupting or have erupted. We have several thousand volcanoes around the world. 67 have erupted in recent times or are still erupting. Guys, when we have a serious volcanic eruption, I talk about it because I want people from all over the world to understand what's going on. More than anything, I'm concerned for everyone's safety. No ram hum solo. It's not the end of the world yet. It's not the end of the world yet. Okay? Yes, we're talking about earthquakes. Yes, we're talking about volcanoes. But so far, very few people lost their life. Very few people have been put on military discipline. Very few people have been arrested as a result of what's going on. Politically, yes, there are people being arrested. But again, this is not the end of the world yet. Ramham Sola says it's a start. It's a very small start. But what you might not realize, this is going to go on for quite some time. This is just a start. It's not the end of the world. Okay? I answered a question the other day. Could seismic waves or tectonic stress link these volcanic giants? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. I've asked everyone to be serious about what's going on in your lives. Jamie Wilkes says, yes, we are having birth pains. Yes. But I think it's far beyond birth pains now. Things are ramping up. What scientists discovered and uncovered in Washington's Magma corridor. Washington's Magma corridor. And for this purpose, we're talking about Mount Baker up to just the south of the Canadian border, south to Glacier Peak, Mount Rainier, and Mount St. Helens. We've discovered, or scientists have discovered, a magma chamber beneath the Washington volcanoes. Beneath the Washington volcanoes. Not just Mount St. Helens either, Mount Hood, Mount Adams east of Mount St. Helens, Newberry Volcano to the south of Mount Hood, the Three Sisters Complex, even south to Crater Lake, Mount Shasta, and Mount Adams. All of this information has serious implications for volcanic activity in this region. They have enabled seismic imaging. They have enabled seismic imaging, ground penetrating radar. They've implemented other scientific instruments, satellite instruments. Look at the GPS ground stations around these volcanoes, and even along the coastline. I'm telling you guys, to have this tremor map today show 4 times the number of epicenters is concerning. It's very concerning. I did not think that this would happen. I did not think this would happen. Okay? This is for the past 30 days. The past 30 days from Vancouver Island to the north central Vancouver Island, all the way down to Northern California. Okay? But again, there is a huge, vast channel of molten rock, magma, that's linking all of these volcanoes. And the magma is moving freely under the ground. Several of you have already said that you felt the magma pulses under the ground. That's because the magma is rolling through these underground magma chambers, these underground magma tunnels. It's acting like water. It's acting like water. You feel the pulses as the liquid moves beneath the ground. One of my good friends that I've been talking to for many years now, he used to go fishing a lot just south of Mount Rainier. When he was fishing and camping there, he said he felt the hydraulics south of Mount Rainier. He felt the magma move beneath the ground. Captain Ned was his name. He used to be here on YouTube, but they took him down because he was talking about what was going on. Now I'm here. I'm the mouthpiece. I'm the one doing the research here. But guys, we need to get serious. Jamie Wilkes says, just imagine it's like being pregnant and having contractions. Pretty much. Pretty much. With all of these volcanoes interconnected and unstable volcanic systems, unstable magma running through those volcanic chambers, and more magma running through the chambers than they've ever seen before. This discovery that the scientists have made is very alarming, especially because Mount Rainier is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the United States. With its snow-capped summit and the proximity of that volcano to huge populated areas like Seattle, Tacoma, Snohomish, and other communities out there, you should be knowing what's going to happen. Even up to the northwest here, up to Friday Harbor. All of you are living on the top of the volcanic lava bed. You're living on the top of the volcanic lava bed. Plain and simple. And now, the magma beneath the ground is moving. And we're seeing what is going on. Now, let's get serious about what's going on. What happens when a volcano blows? What happens when there's going to be an eruption at one of these volcanoes? If an eruption occurs, and I should not even say if, when the eruption occurs at any one of these volcanoes, there's going to be devastating lahars, just like we're seeing at Mount Etna. Magma flows down the side of the volcano, and magma balls, great big huge magma balls, molten volcanic rock being thrown into the air. And then those magma rocks are cascading, rolling down the sides of the volcano towards populated areas. Fortunately for Mount Etna, there's no populated areas very close, but it could be. When Mount Etna started erupting the other day, there were some people hiking along the base of the volcano, and they quickly ran for cover. At that time, the lava was not flowing down the side of the volcano like it is today. And they weren't having magma balls thrown out of the volcano like they are having today. Folks, what I fear, with all of the information I now have, I want you to be serious about your preparations for a volcanic eruption and earthquakes in the Cascadia zone, the Cascadia region. This is serious. Yes, I know we've had other earthquakes in the Seattle area. 6.4s, 6.5s, 5.9s, 6.9s. But guys, there are going to be those earthquakes as well. And then, when the Cascadia megathrust earthquake does occur, we're going to see a huge earthquake, major earthquake, from 9.0 magnitude to a 10.0 magnitude catastrophic earthquake. That's why they call it a mega thrust earthquake. Between the earthquake and these volcanoes, the communities along the coast are going to be destroyed by the shaking. And what the shaking doesn't destroy, the incoming tsunami will. Within 15 to 20 minutes after the onset of the original earthquake. Because of the earthquake, the Cascadia megathrust earthquake, taking place offshore. Let me bring up the USGS map and show you where it's going to happen. For those of you that don't know, or haven't seen it in a while. Let me show it to you. I think you should be very concerned. Very, very concerned. I'm concerned for you. This isn't fear porn. This has nothing to do with fear porn. I don't want anybody to be scared. I want you to be prepared for what's going to happen. More than anything, I want you to be prepared for what's going to happen. The Cascadia megathrust earthquake is going to take place offshore, out here along the coastal areas, the coastal region offshore from the Seattle-Tacoma area. I've shown this earthquake fault here before. Sweet Polly Purebred just gave us a $5 super chat. Thank you, Polly. God bless you for that. Sure appreciate you. Sure appreciate you. But guys, this earthquake fault that runs along the coastline, up and down the entire western coastline of North America, from Northern California up to Queen Charlotte Island, Haida Gwaii, British Columbia. That is the Cascadia subduction zone. The Cascadia subduction zone. There's Haida Gwaii right there, Queen Charlotte Island. We also have what they call the Juan de Fuca Fault. Juandefuca. The Juan de Fuca Fault. That same fault is a zigzag fault area. The Cascadia megathrust earthquake is going to take place on or between either one or both of these faults. That energy of that earthquake is going to be radiated up and down the fault zone. Everybody in this region, everybody within this huge region is going to feel the earthquake. The further north it goes, the less and less strength it's going to have. But the Cascadia earthquake is going to be felt all the way up here in Alaska. By the time it reaches here, it might not be felt as a 9.0, 10.0 anymore, but it's probably going to be felt at least as a 7.0, 8.0 quake. Those are still bad odds. Those are still major shaking, major destructive shaking. They say that the shaking can be felt all the way down here to the Mexican border. All the way down here to the Mexican border. And all the way across the United States and Canada. All the way to the east of the United States and Canada. It's the truth. By the time this shaking reaches the East Coast, I think it will be down to a 6.0, 5.0 large earthquake. But guys, this will still be so devastating because the entire continent will still be shaking. The entire continent will still be shaking. And Polly says this is no laughing matter. It's not. It's not. Like I said, I'm very serious about this. I studied it. I'm writing a book. I know what I'm talking about. While the agency continues to not talk about it, not show the information, and erase information off the paper. Yes, they are erasing data. Heaven forbid we have the right data so that we know what we are preparing for. That's why I'm telling you today, again, that you need to be very serious about what's going on. You need to be very serious about what's going on here. I'm not scared. I am worried. I'm worried. I have family in San Diego. I've got all of you up and down the coastline. Canada, Alaska, and up and down the entire coastline of North America. I've got family in Canada, all the way to the East Coast. I've got family in almost every state of this country, the United States of America. But folks, while the majority of the shaking will happen here in North America, this will be a strong enough quake where there will be some kind of aftershock that will be hitting in other places of this world as a result of this major earthquake. And that's not even talking about the volcanic eruptions. There was an old sailor out to sea the last time we had the Cascadia mega thrust earthquake. He said he saw either Mount Rainier or Glacier Peak erupting at the same time of the earthquake. We know that's going to happen. We know this is going to happen. Richard, I don't want to be king. I don't want to be king. All I want is to everyone respect what they have. Respect who you are, what you're doing, and to be very serious about protecting yourselves and your families. That more than anything will tell me that I've succeeded. As I said, I'm very worried. I'm concerned about everybody's safety. When I hear the USGS and others talk about this huge earthquake and volcanic eruptions, and then they don't show it on the maps, the very pictures where they can get out the information, they're not showing it to the public. I have problems with that because most people want to see pictures. Most people want to see what's going on. Yes, we know for a fact that when this earthquake happens and these volcanoes erupt, there will be people's phones all over taking pictures. The problem is, what is going to happen when the power goes out? You're not going to be able to forward those pictures very far. The Wi-Fi is going to go out. The satellites are going to go down. The telecom all over this country is going to go bad and die. So you might want to take pictures, but are you going to be able to get those out to the public, to the general population, so we know what's going to happen? I doubt it. I doubt it. Canadian Patriot 1 is here in the chat. The tsunami will be huge. All up and down the Pacific Rim will be hit. Yeah. The entire Pacific Rim is going to be hit. As I said before, last week was the last time. Why do we know there's going to be a tsunami here in the Pacific Northwest, going all the way up and down the coastline? Because the Japanese kept good records. When this earthquake hit over 240 years ago, longer than that even, when this earthquake hit, 1810, 1811, December 1810 through February, March 1811. A big deal. I'm sorry, that was New Madrid. That was New Madrid. The Cascadia earthquake happened in January 1700. Over 324 years ago. The Japanese people kept great records. The tsunami wave that hit the Pacific Northwest and all up and down the west coast of North America went all the way across the Pacific Basin, all the way across the Pacific Basin over to Japan. And the Japanese people had a tsunami. We don't have any record of the Hawaiian people seeing that tsunami. We have no records. But I'm sure that that same tsunami engulfed Hawaii as well. Okay? What I am suggesting, as most of the world is going to feel this earthquake, or the aftershocks of this earthquake, I'm asking all of you to be serious about preparing your families and yourselves for what's going to happen. It's not just going to be here in America. It's going to be worldwide. We are already seeing what's happening. We're seeing earthquakes. We're seeing volcanic eruptions worldwide. It's happening. I want you to save lives. I want you to save yourselves and your families and those you care about. I want you to share this information worldwide. I want this information to go out to everybody. Thousands of people. Share this program worldwide. This information cannot just stay with me or you. Share this program worldwide. What makes this thing horrible, terrible to even think about, devastating. It's not just going to happen in one certain area. It's going to happen everywhere. Just like I showed you that earthquake map over the last month with over 11,000 epicenters, over 11,000 earthquakes in the past 30 days. That should be very concerning to everybody. Because what is going to happen is very real. Even the disturbance at Mount St. Helens. If it's only Mount St. Helens that goes off at first, The connectivity between the volcanoes, the magma channels between the volcanoes, is going to make sure that Mount St. Helens is not going to be the only disturbed edifice. Mount Rainier, Mount Hood, Sisters Volcanoes, Glacier Peak, Mount Baker, Mount Constitution, Olympia. Yeah. All of the volcanoes are going to go. Demon Catman says he's got to rescue his dinner. Go for it, Dean. Hope you're going to eat something really good. But guys, what I am talking about here, yes, we have increased monitoring of the volcanoes and earthquakes in this area, north to south. We have increased satellite imaging. There are public preparedness initiatives up as well. But even with the public preparedness initiatives, very few people are even doing anything about it. There are not enough people doing something about this. There needs to be a heightened urgency level. There needs to be a heightened urgency level. The scientists seem to have a heightened urgency level. Every one of us needs to have a heightened urgency level. I'm sure emergency managers at least know what's going to happen. But are they really concerned? I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the emergency managers over there in the Pacific Northwest. I've met many of them. But I am concerned that nothing else is being done, or very little is being done. Last week, we talked about the underground volcanic network and how close it all might be to erupting. Yes, there are some links. They say there are some links between Yellowstone and what's going on here in the Pacific Northwest. As I said before, Yellowstone volcano appears to be resting comfortably. But the increased shaking here in the Pacific Northwest is something else. Completely something else. And it's my opinion that we all need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. I'm very serious with this. We don't do something about it, and very soon, people are going to die, and they're going to die needlessly. I'm of the opinion, if we get started now, we will be able to save some lives. But the longer it takes to get serious, the longer it takes to engage ourselves in the preparedness part of this, the worse it's going to be for everybody. I fear the politicians aren't doing enough. Heck, they can't even protect their communities from crime. They can't even do that. The other day I saw a recording, a video recording, and an article accompanying it, showing Antifa protesters in Washington, in downtown area of Seattle, out on the streets. out on the streets, blocking the streets. What have I said about blocking the streets? Don't do it. You're going to get run over. It's illegal to block a street to protest. You are not performing a peaceful protest if you're in the street. And if you're in the street, the likelihood of getting hit by a vehicle is great. It's huge. And these idiot protesters this past weekend were out on the street. Two of them ran in front of a pickup truck, towing a trailer behind it. Yes, the truck had slowed down, but these protesters thought, oh my gosh, we can run out in front of the truck and try to stop it, and then hold the truck hostage. Wrong answer. The driver of the truck ran over the protesters and kept going. We saw this happen a couple years ago in Washington State when the Antifa protesters were blocking the highways. And some people died. Some of these protesters died because they were too stupid to stay on the side of the road. They were too stupid to not be protesting on a highway at all. They got killed. And now the law protects the drivers and the people in the cars. Because some people don't use the brain they were given. They're not using the brain power that they were given. The same thing applies here. The very same thing applies here. We have to be constant and consistent. Constant and consistent in monitoring what is going on at these volcanoes and what is going on with our earthquakes up and down the coast and all over the world. All over the world. I'm very serious about this. I am very serious. What are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? These volcanoes can be triggered into erupting by a different variety of factors, including internal processes within the volcano itself and external influences like earthquakes. And that's exactly what we're talking about tonight. This is exactly what we're talking about tonight. These same external influences, earthquakes, everywhere. Everywhere, everybody. If you're not concerned, I shouldn't be concerned at all. Because if you're not concerned about what I'm telling you, maybe I'm not making the connection. I hope I am. I hope I am. But I'm very concerned about you. I'm concerned about your families. I'm concerned about your neighborhood. I'm concerned about your cities and towns, the state and country where you live. These volcanoes will erupt. These cities and towns will continue to get hit by earthquakes. Yeah, they will. 3.0, 4.0 earthquakes. The size of the earthquakes, the strength of the earthquakes is increasing, guys. There's noticeable steaming of the fumaroles around the volcano. There's no noticeable steaming from the center of the volcanoes. An increase in the number and the strength of these earthquakes is a sign of volcanic activity. As the magma rises from the Earth's mantle, as the magma rises from the Earth's mantle, what do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? Should we get out of the way and just let it happen? You don't have much of a choice, do you? You don't have much of a choice, do you? Because as the magma rises, and there's no lava plug of the volcano, there will be an eruption. And as I spoke last week, the cracks inside the magma, the lava plugs of the volcanoes are getting more and more thick, more and more wide. At some point in time, that lava plug is going to get brittle. And all it's going to take is a last shove of the magma coming up from underneath with great force, and that lava plug is going to shoot out of that volcano. It's going to break into a million pieces. And there will be a volcanic eruption. Mount Rainier on the north side of the mountain has a huge, huge bulge, just like Mount St. Helens did before it erupted in 1980. It's going to pop. There is so much activity at Mount St. Helens right now. There are a lot of scientists that are very worried that it could erupt any day now. Yes, any day. Mount St. Helens. There is so much going on at Mount Rainier. Scientists are wondering when exactly is Mount Rainier going to blow. None of the seismograms show what's going on. Yes, they show extreme earthquake activity, but they're not putting it on the map. They're not putting it on the map for everybody to see. It's no small wonder that a lot more people aren't concerned because they don't know what's going on. That's where Emergency Management Associates comes in here. We need to get very serious about spreading the word here. We need to get very serious. And I mean serious. Very, very serious. Because when it happens, it's not going to be pretty at all. Not at all. Now, before I leave this map, I was going to take this map down. I'm going to leave this map up for just another couple minutes. These earthquakes in the southern Cascadia subduction zone worry me. Why? Right here. We have a 3.7 small earthquake here, west of Trinidad, California. This is the exact same location where we've had 6.5, 7.2, 7.4 earthquakes in the past. Folks, it's going to happen. This being a 3.7 small earthquake, this could be a foreshock of what's happening. Okay? Down here on the San Andreas Fault Zone. Yes, guys, the San Andreas Fault is also up here to the north. This is a 2.8 earthquake. Closer to shore, we have a 1.5 tremor. Guys, this is serious. These are earthquakes. Earthquakes can hurt people. Now, while these three earthquakes are small or minor tremors, we need to get serious because this earthquake activity is going to get real. It's going to get larger. And a lot of people are going to get hurt and killed. We need to spread the word. We need to spread the word. Real quickly, I want to go up here to the north over in Washington State. Ellensburg, Washington. Ellensburg, Washington's right here. Ellensburg, Washington has its own volcano here. Okay? This is a 1.8 tremor here at Ellensburg, Washington. Folks, Ellensburg has been built on a huge lava field. Years ago, before Ellensburg became Ellensburg, yes, there had been lava on the ground, but since then, more and more lava has piled up around Ellensburg, Washington. A lot. A lot. And you can see where this earthquake hit, out here in the lava field. What you may not realize is out here in the lava field, there is a magma plume here. There is a magma plume servicing this area, sending magma here to possibly erupt at this location. It doesn't take much to understand what's going on here. We don't get that many earthquakes here in Ellensburg. This is a lava magma information center right here in Ellensburg. This area is also going to erupt. That's why there is so much lava already on the ground. It can happen. It can happen. This was a brand new earthquake here. It's red in color, meaning it just happened. Okay? We talked about this earthquake earlier today. May Creek Mountain, Washington. Okay? Guys, it's real. USGS isn't showing these earthquakes like they should. Earthquakes all over this map. And they're not showing them. They're not showing any of them. Yes, they're showing a couple. But they should be showing all of them. That's because USGS doesn't give a darn. They don't give a darn. They don't care whether people are going to get hurt or killed. They don't. They used to, but they don't now. I'm serious about this, guys. We are in the middle of an earthquake field here in the Pacific Northwest. We need to get serious. We need to get very serious. Or we're going to have tens of thousands of other volcano and earthquake victims. Okay? For kicks and giggles, let me show you some things. No, I'm not going to show you a bunch of seismographs today. I'm going to show you a handful, though, because I want you to understand what's going on here. Let's start down here at Mount Shasta and Lassen. First, Mount Lassen, right here. Right there. The top of this seismograph started putting out information at approximately 1:15 p.m. yesterday. That's when we see all these earthquakes here. Yes, all of these earthquakes that you're seeing here are tremors and one small 2.0 earthquake, minor 2.0 earthquake. Guess what? It continued. Look at this, guys. We have other 2.0 earthquakes here as well. Look at this. Now, why are they not showing earthquakes during this time period? From 11 p.m. Until 6:30 this morning. All they've shown here during that time period, 8 hours, are tremors. Only tremors. Why are we not seeing this other activity? Because, folks, the seismologist wanted to go home and go to bed. So he decided they were not going to stay. They were not going to stay to power the seismographs. The seismographs that write the seismograms. And as a result, all you see is this. Almost a clean blank slate here. Almost a completely blank slate here. For 8 hours today, this morning. But before that time period, a ton of tremors and a couple of minor earthquakes. Look what happened here today. Tell me again that nothing's going on. Mount Lassen is busy. Mount Lassen is very busy. A few weeks ago, I showed you more data here at Lassen. Mount Lassen is going to erupt. It's literally when. No, we don't know when. We have no clue when. But it is going to happen. It's going to happen. Are you folks in the Pacific Northwest? Are you folks over here in Northern California ready for what's going to happen? I hope so. I hope so. Because what's going on here at Mount Lassen is also happening at the other volcanoes. Promise you. Promise you. Let's go up to Mount Bachelor just south of the Canadian border. Watch this. This particular seismogram here comes from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. The last one I showed you is a USGS seismogram, blue in color. Look at the activity here, guys. Look at the activity here. This is Bachelor Volcano, the south of Mount Hood. Look what's going on. Yes, we have earthquakes. You're also seeing harmonic earthquakes here as well. Lines of seismic data here. Harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors here. Mount Bachelor is having them. How about Mount Baker? Let's find out what's going on here at Mount Baker. Look at this. Harmonic tremors at this volcano. Are you serious, guys? It's happening. It's happening. Are you serious wanting to know what's going to happen? I'm clearly showing you what's happening. Okay? Let's drop down to Glacier Peak. Like I said, there is one large earthquake here. All the rest of this is all tremors. Nothing but tremors here and microquakes. But this agency is scuttling the data, not wanting to admit what's going on here. You see the earthquake last night. This earthquake last night happened after 9:35 p.m. last night Pacific time when this earthquake hit. 3.0, 3.2 earthquake. All the rest of this data has been scrubbed. They will never admit that this happens. They will never admit that this is going on. Okay? Let's take a look at another volcano. Let's take a look at Mount Rainier. Okay? What's going on at Mount Rainier? I wonder. Look at this. This is Emerald Ridge. Emerald Ridge. They've been playing games with Emerald Ridge before. They had scrubbed earthquakes off the Emerald Ridge seismograph. Look what happened here today. Look at this. Last night after 6 p.m., it actually started at 5. I want to go here. It probably started after 5:40 or 5:58 p.m. last night. It continued after 6 p.m. 1800 hours on the left-hand side. That's what this means. You see 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, then 00 hours. 10, 115, 10:30, 45, then 1800 hours, 6 p.m. After 6 p.m. last night, we had some minor earthquakes, we had tremors, and ultimately we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Here. Tell me what's going on, guys. Emerald Ridge showing a 3.0 small earthquake and all kinds of other activity here. Minor tremors up to 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. You're seeing other tremor activity here as well. Mount Rainier, guys. Mount Rainier. Let's go over here and show you Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is very active. Very, very active. This is East Dome Mount St. Helens. This is the main seismogram. This is the main seismogram from this volcano. Look at this. Harmonic tremors here. Harmonic tremors. They started at approximately 5:45 last night. They continued for hours on end. Then, let me enlarge this for you. Then it ended. It ended after 4:30 this morning. After that, we still had tremors. We still had some earthquakes. Over here on the right, near the bottom, what happened here? Guys, when we have tremors, when we have earthquakes, they get larger, don't they? Stuff happens. Okay? More and more earthquakes here, late morning this afternoon as well. Look at that. It's happening. Mount Rainier, Emerald Ridge. Mount St. Helens, East Dome right here. Then I want to take you over to Mount Rainier, September lobe. Mount Rainier September lobe is going to give you some interesting information. Why? Why, you might say? Mount Rainier is beginning to erupt. It's starting to erupt. Look at this. This is the evidence here. At the bottom, we see earthquakes. But all the rest of this side around here is nothing but harmonic tremor activity. Harmonic tremor activity. I'm serious. This is what's going on. Mount St. Helens is doing it. Mount Rainier is doing it. Let me show you September lobe. September lobe BD00CC. Why is that important? Why do you think it's important to take a look at that? Because, folks, this shows the magma coming into this volcano. Look at this. Active volcano. Active lava going into the magma chamber of this volcano. Very active. Is something going to happen? Yes, it is. It doesn't really matter what the map says. You can see the activity right here. That's why I put it here. This is exactly why I put this activity here. You need to understand it. You need to see it. Maybe you don't understand it until you see it. But folks, this is real. People are going to get hurt. People are going to get hurt. Seriously killed. If they don't see this. Let's go over to Camp Sherman at Mount Rainier. Camp Sherman is over on the north side of the volcano. The upper north side of the volcano. Guess what happens? Look at this. Earthquakes. Earthquakes here. Okay? I just showed you earthquakes at Mount St. Helens. This is earthquakes at Mount Rainier. I'm serious, guys. This is happening. Let's go south to Newberry Volcano. The same thing here. Harmonic tremors here at Newberry. There's a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here at Newberry Volcano. Do you understand the relativity of what we're talking about? Yes, I zoomed in close so I could show you what's going on. I want you to understand what's happening. I need you to understand what's going on here. Yes, this is what's happening. These volcanoes are getting ready to erupt. Plain and simple. They are getting ready to erupt. My concern is, are people going to be able to get out of the way? Are people preparing their homes, making their homes a fortress? Are people preparing their families to bug out? What are you doing? Are you even discussing it? Are you even putting the information out there? So it matters. That's what matters. Please, if you are writing a preparedness plan, make sure all members of your family have copies of that plan. Go over it with them. Have a family night where you're talking about what's going on. Discuss it with them. Show them exactly what's happening. Everybody deserves to know what's going on, but don't frighten them. Don't frighten them. Just be serious about what's going on and make decisions as a family. Make decisions as a family. That way they know that you are serious. They also know that you're trying to take care of them. That's important. That's why we're talking about this. Renee Sevy's here in the chat talking about a tornado warning for Bailey, Texas, Cochran, Texas, issued by the Weather Service in Lubbock, Texas at 5:45 this evening. A tornado warning. That means to take cover now. That means to take cover now. Make sure you're getting in your safe place, whether it is in the middle of your home or in a storm shelter. Take cover now. Protect you and your family. Now, I do have one seismogram I want to show you that has nothing to do with the volcano. This is Rockport, Washington, just outside of Mount Baker area. Look at Rockport. Again, magma channels are not just leading to the volcanoes. We're seeing harmonic tremors here, which means we may have a magma, we do have a magma channel down beneath the surface of this town. And yes, it could erupt. We could have new volcanic activity right here in Rockport. Just like we're having earthquakes up and down the coastline. Do you get it? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand my concern of what's happening? Another severe thunderstorm warning came out from Odessa, Texas for Eddy, New Mexico, Leah, New Mexico, possibly dangerous storm. PDS, possible dangerous storm. Take cover now. Take cover now. Winds are going to be high. You may see a tornado out of this. Get in a place. Make sure you have your AM, FM weather radio with you, tuned to a National Weather Service frequency. If you don't have a weather radio, make sure your AM, FM weather radio is on, or AM, FM radio is on, tuned to News Talk station. That's important. Okay. Folks, I did not come on the air tonight to try to put the fear of God in you, but I want to show you what's going on. I definitely want to show you what's going on because your life depends on it. The entire North American craton is shaking from north to south. I keep showing you the earthquakes whenever we have them. The entire North American craton is shaking. I can only pray that you are doing something about it. I would ask you that you do something about what's going on for your family and yourself. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for you. But you can do it yourself. Now, I'm going to get out of here. We've nearly been on the air for 2 hours. I've given you the information. I'm asking for everybody to take action. Take action. Do what you have to do to protect yourselves and your family. Last night I showed you earthquakes around the globe, and yes, there still are earthquakes around the globe. I urge you also, down below our video program right here, down below our program right here is our program description. Underneath all the links to other agencies for information, I have the link to Ryan Holyall for weather. I also have the link for Mark Pires, our entertainer. I have also the link for Mark Wages that talks about solar activity. Go there and show their channel some love. Go there and show their channel some love. Mark Wages has been telling us about solar activity. That's why we had so many earthquakes this past weekend, because of a gigantic solar flare. It's going to happen again and again and again. We're going to continue to have these earthquakes. We're going to continue to have volcanic eruptions. Folks, prepare. Prepare. In closing, I want to bear my testimony of Jesus Christ. We are in the last days. We are in the last days. I know Jesus Christ is our Savior, our Lord and King. And no one can draw closer to our Father but through the Savior, our King, even Jesus Christ. He is the way, the truth, and life. We need to follow him. We need to pay attention to what he says. Throughout the scriptures in the New Testament, where Paul is testifying, he says, I thank my God always on your behalf, for the grace of God which is even in you by Jesus Christ. I thank my God upon every remembrance of all of you. In every prayer that Carol and I have, we talk for peace and harmony in our land. We talk for clarity. We want to know what's going on. We want you all to be safe. In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 5, 6, and 7, and 8, that in everything, he started off in verse 3 there, thanking his God for all them, all of us. Verse 5, that in everything ye are entrenched by him, enriched by him, in all utterance and in all knowledge, even as the testimony of Christ was conferred to you, so that ye come behind in no gift, waiting for the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. All of us must come unto Christ. All of us have responsibility to help each other, to help our families. Let's do it. It's so sad that our government doesn't care, whether it be about tornadoes or geology. Folks, we need to make sure that we are ready for everything that happens. That's why we talk about it here. I hope you have a good night and better tomorrow. If anything happens tonight or in the morning, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Tomorrow evening at 4 p.m. sharp, We will be back on the air with Emergency Management Associates Preparedness, talking about emergency preparedness. Please, folks, between now and then, come prepared to talk about preparedness. Come with questions. Please, folks, come up with questions you want answered, because I will answer your questions. Yes, I already have ideas to talk about, but I want your questions. I want to be able to help each and every one of you. I do. I ask God to be with you this day and always. Always. May God be with you and protect you. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody.